Hey, we are Théatrophone, a producer duo from Berlin, and we are producing now since around 3 years already, music, and releasing since a bit more than 2 years. Have released around 13 singles and would describe our sound mostly as dance pop style.
Yeah, dance pop-ish style, but we also have a lot of deep house elements, which is I would say it's more of a deep house style with pop influence or pop elements because the main course of our music is definitely deep house, especially when you hear the earlier tracks like this and My Heart. They are like
typical. Yeah, we started there with more slap house style, I would say, and then it got more like from this typical slap house thing to a bit more deep housey style.
Yeah. So mostly deep house with pop elements, and I think quite lately with a lot of I would say acoustic elements. So at least we tried to adapt our style over the last 2 years and put in more of a acoustic vibe, I think. It's kind of a thing of mine, to be honest, so to put more of acoustic elements inside of electronic songs, because I love like really live music with a lot of acoustic elements, and with all the music that's coming out right now, it's kind of like a thing that sometimes it gets lost in this whole electronic music industry, that we don't have like normal acoustic things or acoustic elements in the track. So yeah, that was something that happened recently, but we are not talking about the tracks we've produced in the past. So we want to talk about our 6-month-long project, the EP, which we normally would release a lot sooner, but
took so much work.
It took so much work, and apparently my MacBook broke down and we lost a lot of useful data, and so we are releasing now the EP at the end of January instead of, I think it was normally planned for
October, I guess. October, November, but we had to rebuild some tracks then again and listen to the demos and build them afterwards again in Logic to have the finished project file. But I think we managed it, and it sounds really well, like the first spiritual idea we already had in the summer last year.
So the main idea, before we go into detail, or a little bit more detail on the single tracks that are on this EP, the main idea, let's rephrase that. It wasn't a main idea that we had when we produced this EP, because the EP contains tracks that we produced out of a single feeling, or they were just lying around sometimes because we thought, alright, they're not commercial enough, they're maybe not trendy enough for the whole thing that's going through the music industry in the last, I think, 1.5 years, and that's also the main reason we came up with the name Feelings, because every track resembles a feeling that we wanted to have again, maybe, kind of like build a complete EP with just tracks that we felt were cool, or wanted to feel cool. So there was not a real intention behind it to like get streams or promote stuff or something like that. All of the tracks that are on this EP are tracks that we like to listen to, which is our style of music that we like to listen to, we like to play, and not that the other songs that we produce are mainly produced to generate streams or something like that. But I think there are those tracks on the EP are like our most free tracks, where we did not overthink very much. It's basically just tracks that came out of our feelings. So it's our realest work in some terms, I think. Maybe it came out a little bit too commercially abrupt as I wanted it to be, but I think that's it for the intro. Should we dive in the tracks?
Dive in to the first tracks.
All right. Yeah, let's start with our first track on the EP, which is the title track of the EP, Feelings. Yeah, resembles a lot of positive and warm emotions. Kind of happened by accident, to be honest, when I think about it now, that the tracks inside the EP are not only listed in a certain way, but also generate kind of a feeling going throughout the year, especially weather-wise, because the Feelings is kind of like a spring-ish song. Yeah. It starts really dark, like you're still in your winter blues stuff, or you're feeling not that well, and you feel like a little bit more isolated, more cold, and then it gets warmer and warmer and warmer and builds up throughout the whole track, and something like spring. I think especially here in Germany, because or in Berlin here.
Something else maybe in other continents of the world. But here in Berlin, like the winter is super cold, super mellow, and that's also the idea how the track starts with a really dark kick and bass only, and then it shines through more and more throughout the track. Yeah.
It kind of builds up, and let's say it sheds more light through every second this track is on. So yeah, kind of like a spring feeling song, which we highly recommend listen to throughout the whole year, because every time I listen to it, it's very uplifting to me, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think this track is also super clubby, especially like compared to our other tracks, and that makes it really special, because you can also compare it a bit standing in front of the club in the beginning. It's a bit more mellow, and then you come in, an arpeggio sound is already there, and you feel what you can expect. But then with the drop, it feels like you're in middle on the dance floor, and that's the thing, as Nico said, it always brings you in this uplifting mood, at least also when you are at home.
Yeah, we are not bothering you with any of the, I think, technical aspects of music production here, because it's mainly, I would say, emotionally driven video explanation here, because I think when you would like to know a little bit more of the technical aspects, how we produced, or how we generally produce music, or how we produce this EP, maybe leave a comment, contact us, or just reach out to us if you want to know something about that. But just to have a little disclaimer here before we jump onto the next track, generally talking how we felt producing this EP, because it's not only just a music production process for us, because it's really a lot of work, a lot of sweat, a lot of tears got into this EP project, and we wanted to share this with you because it's something really, really special to us, something that we never did before and we are extremely proud of. So yeah, just leave a little bit of love, and just let us know if you want to know anything else. And I think
jump to the next track.
Yeah,
I would
just
say
jump to the next one.
Yeah, Focus is the second track of our single, and as we spoke already about the spring vibe, Focus is definitely a track that brings you the typical summer vibe to the EP. So I think perfectly to get you in a good and sunny mood.
Yeah, definitely in a sunny mood. I wouldn't say it's like maybe it kind of depends how you interpret it. I think for me it's not like a classic beach vibe club mix, but that's kind of a funny part of this whole EP, or especially this track, is that all of these tracks, like, I wouldn't say happened by accident, so but we never intended to produce these tracks like this, so I think it just started up with the stock vocal where I just jammed along on the guitar, and I thought just the main riff sounded so cool on this vocal track that I was like, all right, now we can keep going and bring more of the electronic elements in it, and it just ended up so good that I was just genuinely surprised how good this track actually sounded from my personal perspective, especially. But it kind of like shaped the way I approach songs now, which is kind of crazy, because now I'm not starting a track on a classic electronic way, like, alright, finding a bass or starting with the kick drum. I always just grab the guitar and just jam away on it, just to find out, alright, how is the vibe of the song, how can I get it into like maybe a little more abstract version or a more acoustic version or stuff like that. And yeah, it's really, really cool for me to just explore things that I didn't knew were there just by surprise maybe. But yeah, I think the track, especially this track on the EP, is probably one of my favorites on this EP, just because of the way it actually was made. So how much it taught me to approach my music production or our music production in general. Yeah, but yeah, if you are a big fan of like, I would say more jazzy style house, which I really, really enjoyed of the last year, this is definitely a song I would recommend you to listen to regularly, hopefully. But yeah, it's a vibe. I love the song, I love the vibe of the song, I love the vocal, I just love the guitars on that song. So yeah, kind of a vibe for me especially. I hope you get that. If you don't get that, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. I get it. I think it's a very niche-y song. So yeah, I think there's nothing more to say about that song.
I think also on the musical side you could say Focus is the perfect track to slow down if you listen to it in context on our EP before the next track that hits you a bit more on the clubby side.
Yeah. It's I don't think I would call it a downer. So don't get us wrong here. It's not a downer. You can play it in. Hopefully, you can play it in a kind of clubby.
Yeah, we also
vibe.
played it in the summer a few times live, and it also worked really well.
Yeah, but it's not, especially compared with the next song we're gonna show you or talk about. It's not that clubby as the next one. So I think we should
jump to the next one.
Jump to the next one in the middle. So the next track we want to talk about is Matrix. If you're English native,
you want to pronounce it.
Yeah, English native speakers would call it Matrix. Yeah, and I think Matrix is also. I think Matrix, especially for me, is a song that I've wanted to make for years. I think that's the right way to describe it. Years. I love techno music. I love melodic techno, but I also love like dark techno, and I always wanted to combine the melodic elements with like this really punchy and drivey vibe that dark techno has. That's like really just busting your ears open, maybe. But I never could do it. I never really got kind of like the hang to it, because every time I've started to produce a track that just really sounded really bad, because I could not help myself and could not get the arrangement right. I could not get the bass line right, and I don't know how it actually happened. I just found this ARP sound, just put the kick drum under it, and then just like step by step added the elements, and somehow it worked. I don't know how we got there, but it actually worked.
I would say like it's also the magic of this like typical acid house bass line, which is a bit more, has this special resonances compared like to the normal bass lines you use in other techno tracks. And I think this made it then possible to have still this tweak and also a bit funky tweak on it, to make it that outstanding and sound really well for a club.
Yeah, I think one of the main ideas, especially when we're talking like the I think technically it's the second verse, but we just have like turned it into a like giant break with these quotes from very famous people. I think Nina Simone is in there, Bob Marley's in there.
My favorite quote.
It's your favorite. It's
very important. I would say like The quote from Bob Marley, like, the good thing about music, when it hits you, you feel no pain. I think this is definitely the thing, and we put it directly in front of the next drop.
Yeah.
And so just when it hit, you won't feel the pain.
Yeah, some would call it purpose, but also happened, to be honest, by accident, because like we just went recorded and put it in, and somehow Bob Marley's quote was the last one that we actually put in, so it just kind of like, but that's actually kind of like the vibe of the song when we were like producing it. It just happened, so we didn't force it, and these things that we actually put together and sounded good just like happened by surprise, sometimes by accident, when we're like, all right, we're just putting it in there, and it's like fitted perfectly. So but I definitely would recommend this song. From all 5 songs we are gonna talk about, I think that's the most clubby song, and I think the most like the best song to play at a club. Generally play when you want people to dance.
Yeah.
When they like techno music. I think when they don't like techno music, they're probably like don't listen to the EP in general. But I would say it's like the best track to put on a DJ set, because it just like has this drive, and then we have like this big break with the quotes, which normally you would say like slows everything down, but I think the atmospheric vibe that we got there in, it's like a pause, but it's also like creating tension, because it's not that far of a drop off as many other tracks maybe would go over. But Matrix definitely also a very, very, very good track, and probably the most surprising one for me personally on the EP, because I never ever thought that let's say we would be able to produce such a song. I think Jonathan maybe would, but I never in my life would thought, or maybe I wouldn't say never would be able to produce such a song. It's not right, but I would say in that short amount of time that we did it, I would never thought that I would be able to do it. So Matrix.
And I think due to the energy level, it was just a perfect track to put it exactly in the middle of the EP, before it gets now a bit more, I would say, melancholic in the next track we will jump in now.
Alright, Fix Me. It's a focus track of this EP. It's the second single.
Yeah,
second single
we released
track.
it exactly a bit earlier beforehand.
Yeah.
The EP
it's a second single type of track that we have on this EP, besides the focus one, which we released a little bit earlier, just as a teen. Normally as a teaser, didn't work that well, because, as I mentioned before, my laptop broke down, so the time between the focus release and the EP release was way longer than we expected it to be. So kind of a mute point, but let's move on. Fix Me is like I would say just also like the feelings in the Matrix, like something that we actually like to listen to, because it's just the general vibe of our music that we like to listen to. So but from all tracks, I think on this EP, I would say Fix Me is like the most Théatrophone-like track that we actually have, and which is kind of funny, because we never intended to produce this track like this, or in that format we actually released it now, but it kind of like has all the elements that we worked on and reproduced over the last two to 3 years. And I think you hear the progression, or we especially hear the progression that we like made for like 2.5 years now, and we got better in doing a little bit of transition work and finding the right bass sound and stuff. Like it's like little things which like makes me a little bit more just like thankful for the last 2.5 years, and just shows me how much we adapted and evolved as musicians or as producers.
Also say on the melodies, like we found our way to write our own melodies, which wasn't in the beginning not that much, but now if you look back, you see already this progress and this like signature melodies we have in every production, and so that's why Fix Me has it also in a kind of way.
Yeah. I mean, it's exactly like that, because I think as a casual listener, you maybe notice something when you listen to a certain type of music or a certain type of artist, but you can't put your finger on it because you listen to it and it was like, all right, it's still this music, but something has changed. And I think especially on this track, because the other ones are like the other tracks that we already talked about and going to talk about in the last one, are not our typical style of tracks, I would say. That's more of an experiment and more of tracks like we want to produce. And since Fix Me is so close to our original sound, you actually can hear like the progression that we made over the last 2 years, which is kind of insane, because we never intended to do so. But as soon as you hear it, you can't overhear it, and which makes me even more proud of this EP and this track in particular. And especially with Fix Me, we going into a more darker vibe, because it's like it's more of our style. We produce not that many of warm tracks like Feelings or Focus tracks. Surely we have, I think, 1 or 2 tracks that are like more of a summer vibe, but I would say we like play like in the more darker and more deeper areas when it comes to electronic music. So that one definitely hit the spot, and really going. Also, we going like we mentioned already the different types or stages in the year. We also went like from Matrix to Fix Me like in the more autumn winter rain now, because it gets really darker anymore, and it's like, especially when you go clubbing, you don't go into outdoor clubs anymore, you just like go into indoor clubs where it's like really dark, warm, and just dance your feet off or something like that.
But I think it still spreads some hope, this track. So it's not only melancholic, it still gives some hope, like to find maybe the right person that fixes you. So that's the idea also, like. Just
to be a little bit transparent here, we didn't write the lyrics of all our tracks ourselves. So if some of the lyrics maybe just confuse you a little bit, don't worry, it's not our intention to actually be like very lyrical and spread some I would say message with our songs. It's I think just a general
message, but
it's still a message, but mostly we are in for the general sound of the track, that you like the track itself. But if we want to make some message with the songs, I think we'll make it quite obvious.
But we really like this vocal sample because it has this super mellow sound, not too bright, but still gives this warmth into the production.
And it's probably the most hard vocal we ever had to mix in a track. I think it was literal hell. I told you before, it was like sweat and tears, and it was like sweat and tears 90% for the Fix Me track. It's 90% of that, because it was like the most difficult song to actually mix in, because there was like so many mid frequencies in there that it was crazy. It was really crazy. So really proud that we
fixed it.
We fixed it
in the end.
We fixed it and made it hopefully sound good. So we're happy with it. I hope you like it. So last one.
To the last
track.
one. We really like this Afro house vibe that was going on already since, I would say, 1 year already. But especially this summer, it completely exploded, and it feels like more or less the whole dance music scene is into this Afro house sound. In every club you go, it is played a lot, and so we really like this, and also wanted to bring in these sounds to our productions, because we think it's the perfect evolution from our deep house sound. It's still already organic, but like this Afro house brings a bit more other rhythmics we haven't explored before. That's why I really liked it to try here a bit around, and I think we found also a good way to bring in our signature sound, our melodies, a bit similar like to the feelings in the drop, but still have some new organic vibes.
Yeah. I think No Samsa is kind of like a combination of our latest tracks before that, and I think as every other producer duo, as other single producers all over the world, we have a lot of unfinished or started tracks that we never released or thought maybe release them later or stuff like that. But especially with Samsa, it's basically an idea of a track that we have I think we had for 1.5 years. I think over the course of the last 1.5 years, we especially had this idea of a song, and it kind of turned out to be that song, to be honest, with, especially with a lot of piano vibe-ish sounds and like a more atmospheric sound that we usually make, which is for me actually the perfect exit point on our EP, because it kind of becomes full circle, that it starts very atmospheric with the Feelings EP title track, and then with No Samsa at the end comes a more exit track. When you hear that on a club, and if that is really the last track of the evening, you get I think especially for me, it's such a good feeling, because I listen to it and I calm down a little bit. It's not like I wouldn't call it a classic club track, because I wouldn't say it has that much of a drive like the other tracks, but I think that's not the intention behind this track.
No, it's a bit more chill out track.
Yeah.
And I think one special thing here is also like the vocals. We tried here to go with some French vocals, which is also something super new for us, because we always worked with English vocals before, and we think this brings also in this typical more summer South European style.
Yeah, kind of but I never worked with French vocals in general. I think we thought about maybe adding Brazilian or Spanish vocals, but I think because everyone did that on the Afro House projects that I worked on, so we kind of thought, alright, okay, we wanted to do something cool, or maybe something that others already did, but in a way that we like it to be. So no Spanish, no Brazilian or Portuguese. They're speaking Portuguese, but I would say Brazilian. They don't speak Brazilian in Brazil. They speak all right. So already a little bit of lecture on speech, but we just chose to do it in French, because I think it also sounds cool. I did not notice that it was a French vocal, to be honest, until you told me it was a French vocal, because there were so few words in that that I didn't really notice it. But, let's see.
It's also kind of universal language.
I think so.
I think that's it to round up.
I think that's it. That's our last track description. I hope you enjoyed this short explanation video, or this short journey that we like to put you through to our new EP. I hope you especially like our EP in the first place.
Maybe you have heard it already, maybe also not. If not, I can also suggest you to click the link below in the video description to listen to the full EP on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, and so on.
And with that, if you have any suggestions, any wishes, maybe, like I mentioned in the beginning, some more technical review on our tracks, or just a music production, a deep dive in general, if you want that, tag us, reach out to us, or just comment down below, leave a like, maybe subscribe, and I hope you have a very, very good day, evening, night, wherever you watch this. And whoever watches this, greetings, cheers, and see you soon.
Yes, see ya. Bye.